Hello and welcome to the Ellen Made Book Club. Today I want to talk about some books that I think sound really good that are coming out in May. I'm still getting over a cold, and so if I sound a bit weird, that's why. But yeah, the show must go on, and I really want to talk to you about these books. And as usual, I have 9 books in different genres that I think sound really good, and then some honorable mentions at the end. So first up, I have a mystery thriller, and that is The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. This follows 2 women who are both searching for their missing sisters, and it says, one night Casey goes missing, driver's door open, purse on the seat. 2 weeks earlier, Jules went missing in the same way, and with no more clues, the case went cold. 7 years later, Casey's sister Nicole and Jules' sister Jenna meet, and they will do anything to find their sisters, even if it means destroying everything they've ever known. I think this sounds very suspenseful. There is clearly something bad going on with these women going missing so close together in time and in such a similar way, and I am intrigued by the relationships between the sisters and also between these 2 women who are trying to find their missing sisters. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, I have 1,000 Natural Shocks by Omar Hussain. This is about a man called Dash, who is a reporter in California and investigating the reemergence of a serial killer. At night, Dash is entangled with a cult that promises a pill to erase his traumatic memory. When Dash discovers a dark secret, he is soon in a race to evade the cult, unveil the killer, and reconcile his past before his own memories fade away. If there's any mention of a cult or some kind of memory problems, those 2 things are going to make me very intrigued, and then adding a serial killer into the mix and an investigating reporter and a pill. I don't know, I think this sounds very intriguing and like a good mix of things, and yeah, I really hope to get to read this one at some point. The next book is a historical mystery thriller, and that is A Beautiful Way to Die by Eleni Kyriacou. This has been compared to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but with more of a mystery thriller aspect. But we're in Hollywood in 1953, and there we are following a young actress called Ginny, who is turning heads, and even the legendary and married actor Max can't resist her. We're also following Stella Hope in London in 1954, once the most famous actress in Hollywood, now ousted from her studio and divorced from Max. And she's being blackmailed for a mistake that she made a long time ago. And then one night, in the shadows of a glamorous Oscars after party, both women's lives are changed forever. The tagline on the cover says, "You're either born a star or you'd kill to be one." Yeah, I think this could be really, really good. Next up, I have Immaculate Conception by Ling Huang, and this is a literary speculative horror thriller. This is following Matilda, who is a dizzyingly talented tortured artist on the rise. And we're also following Enka, who is struggling to make original art, but is immediately drawn to Matilda. Their intense bond soon turns codependent, and when Matilda's fame increases, Enka is desperate to keep her friend close, and her husband has some interesting technology. So Enka is married to a billionaire, and his family is funding some kind of new technology, which is meant to heighten empathy, but it also makes it possible to inhabit someone's mind and absorb their trauma. And so there's something going on there between Enka and Matilda, and the line between their identities is starting to blur somehow. And yeah, this sounds very strange and perhaps a bit scary, but yeah, anything to do with the brain and the memory and sort of your perception of self is something that interests me. So yeah, I would still like to try to read this book, even though it says it's horror. Next up, I have a mystery thriller / romance, or like a domestic thriller of some kind, called Dying to Meet You by Sarina Bowen. Rowan is a single mother, a talented architect, and stalking her ex on her phone. Watching him is both fascinating and infuriating, but when he parks in their favorite spot, Rowan sets off to see who he is with. But instead of catching her ex in a kiss, she becomes witness to his murder and the primary suspect. Of course, she starts digging to find out what happened, and what she finds out is that he was stalking her too, and now her life might be in danger as well. I get the feeling that this is the kind of thriller that has a sense of humor, like that's a bit sort of sarcastic. It says things like, she knows that stalking her ex isn't the healthiest way to heal from their breakup, but she's out of ice cream and she's sick of rom-coms. It doesn't sound too scary, but still a bit twisty, and that sounds really good to me. Next we have something a little bit more warm and fuzzy, and that is Sleep by Honor Jones. This is a contemporary debut, which is character-driven, family-focused, and said to be warm, joyful, and empowering. Every parent exists in two families, the one she was born into and the one she has made. Newly divorced Margaret is back at her parents' house with her young daughters, reminded of her own childhood and reckoning with what it means to keep a child safe. I think it's always interesting to explore family dynamics, and it sounds like there's something that happened in someone's childhood and, reckoning with what it means to keep a child safe. I just think it sounds very intriguing, and I look forward to reading this. I think I will have this available on audiobook. Next up, I have another mystery thriller, and that is The Ascent by Alison Buccola. 20 years ago, a reclusive commune and all its members vanished without a trace, except for a 12-year-old girl wandering alone in search of her lost family. Since then, Lee has tried to move on and put her past behind her, and no one in her life knows about her connection to this vanished cult, not even her husband. But Lee is a new mother, and she's growing more and more paranoid. And then a stranger, a woman she doesn't know, shows up claiming to have answers to all of her questions about her lost family. So now Lee has to decide if she's going to trust this strange woman, and the more she digs into this woman's history, the more Lee's life, the stable life that she has built for herself, is starting to shatter. Like I said, anything to do with a cult is going to intrigue me, and I think this one could be really good. The next book is called The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey, and this is a literary dystopia set in England in 1979. The last remaining residents of a government home, three triplets live under the watchful eyes of their three mothers: Mother Morning, Mother Afternoon, and Mother Night. Their nightmares are recorded in the Book of Dreams and their sins reported in the Book of Guilt. When the home is to be shut down, the boys begin to question everything that they have been told. It also says, gradually surrendering its dark secrets, the Book of Guilt is a profoundly unnerving exploration of belonging in a world where some lives are valued less than others. I think this sounds so weird and so unique and very intriguing, and this is the author of Pet, which I still haven't read, but which I'm very intrigued to read. I don't know, there's something about this author's ideas for books that are very intriguing to me, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one a lot. The next book might not be for everyone, considering the date that is involved. Maybe someone would think it's sort of insensitive to write a story on this date, but I think that the premise sounds intriguing, and so I wanted to mention it anyway, and that is Tell Them You Lied by Laura Leffler. We're following two female students in art school, Anna and Willow. And Anna has never met anyone like Willow before. She is cool and mysterious and her muse and collaborator. But 5 years later, Anna is starting to get weary. The art scene in New York is more about survival, and Willow is a muse only to herself and cruel. So Anna decides to stage a mugging to win her friend back somehow. But the morning it's set to take place happens to be the morning of September 11th, 2001. As the city is dealing with everything that happened, Willow never returns home. And so Anna is keeping quiet about this prank that she had planned, but she has no idea what happened to Willow, and she is growing more and more panicked and wondering if she is to blame for Willow's disappearance or if something else happened to her. I think this premise sounds very interesting. I'm not sure that the date was necessary, but I guess it works as a sort of backdrop for this story, and Anna not knowing if it's her prank that went wrong or what happened. Then I have a few honorable mentions that I'm going to go through quite quickly, and the first one is The Ones We Love by Anna Snoekstra. This is a thriller set in Los Angeles. Since the weekend of the party, the one Liv can't remember and that left her covered in bruises, there's been a padlock on the door of her bedroom, and her parents are acting very strange. Her younger brother Casper was away that weekend, but he knows something isn't right, and he decides to find out what no one will tell him. Golf by Mo Ogrodnik. This is a debut novel following 5 women with vastly different origins who must navigate the difficult but true realities as women, wives, and mothers in the unrelenting landscape of the Arabian Gulf. Golf is a book about cruelty, rebellion, resilience, and hope, and it asks, how far would you go in order to survive? Of course, I have to mention My Friends by Fredrik Backman. 3 tiny figures sit at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people don't even notice them. They think it's just a painting of the sea. But Louisa, an artist herself, knows otherwise, and she is determined to find out the story of these 3 enigmatic figures. And then lastly, I have The Morning Necklace by Kate Foster, who is the author of The Maiden, which I thoroughly enjoyed last year. This is historical fiction set in Edinburgh in 1724. Maggie's family drown their sorrows, mourning her death, yet relieved she is gone. Hanged for the murder of her newborn child, passers-by avert their eyes from her cheap coffin. But as her family pray she rests in peace, a figure appears at the door. It's Maggie. She is alive and wants to know, will they hang her twice? Those were all of the books that I had picked out. Please let me know in the comments which ones you think sound the most interesting, and if you think that you will pick any of them up. And if you haven't watched them already, I have a whole series of these videos starting from January this year. So I will leave a link in the description to that playlist. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Yeah, inhabiting.